Chapter 20, Air Pollution Vocabulary. Air pollution. Various chemicals added to the atmosphere by natural events or human activities in high enough concentrations to be harmful. Primary air pollutant. A harmful substance such as a soot or carbon monoxide that's emitted directly into the atmosphere. Secondary air pollutant. A harmful substance formed in the atmosphere when a primary air pollutant reacts with substances normally found in the atmosphere or with other air pollutants. Particulate matter consists of thousands of different solid or liquid particles suspended in the atmosphere. Solid particulate matter is generally referred to as dust, whereas liquid suspensions are commonly called mists. Particulate matter reduces visibility by scattering and absorbing sunlight. Nitrogen oxides. Gases produced by the chemical interactions between atmospheric nitrogen and oxygen when a source of energy, such as combustion or of fuels, produces high temperatures. This is an example of a secondary air pollutant. Ozone. A pale blue gas that is both a pollutant in the lower atmosphere and an essential component that screens out UV radiation in the upper atmosphere. Photochemical smog. A brownish-orange haze formed by chemical reactions involving sunlight, nitrogen oxide, and hydrocarbons. Temperature inversion. A deviation from the normal temperature distribution in the atmosphere, resulting in a layer of cold air temporarily trapped near the ground by a warmer upper layer. Emphysema. A disease in which air sacs in the lungs become irreversibly distended, decreasing the efficiency of respiration and causing breathlessness and wheezy breathing. Chronic bronchitis. A disease in which the air passages of the lungs become permanently inflamed, causing breathlessness and chronic coughing. Vapor recovery. The removal of unburned gasoline vapors from gasoline containers, including underground tanks at gas stations and automobile gas tanks. The Clean Air Act of 1970 set the standard for modern air quality regulation. This law authorizes the EPA to set limits on the amount of specific air pollutants permitted everywhere in the United States. Ultraviolet radiation. That part of the electromagnetic spectrum with wavelengths just shorter than visible light. Stratospheric ozone thinning. The accelerated destruction of ozone in the stratosphere. This is the good ozone, by human-produced chlorine and bromine containing chemicals. Chlorofluorocarbons, also known as CFCs. Human-made organic compounds of carbon, chlorine, and fluorine that had many industrial and commercial applications but were banned because of the attack of the stratospheric ozone layer. The Montreal Protocol, an agreement that originally stipulated a 50% reduction of CFC production by 1998. Acid deposition. Sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide emissions react with water vapor in the atmosphere to form acids that return to the surface as either dry or wet deposition. The effects of acid deposition. Corrodes metals and building materials, damaging Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., historical sites in Venice and Rome, and ancient Mayan ruins in southern Mexico. Several studies have found that birds living in an area with pronounced acid deposition were more likely to lay eggs with thin, fragile shells to break or dry out before the chicks hatch. Global distillation effect, the process whereby volatile chemicals evaporate from lands as far away as the tropics and are carried by air currents to higher latitudes, where they condense and fall to the ground. The air toxics involved in the global distillation effect are persistent compounds such as PCBs or DDT. They do not easily break down and they accumulate in the environment. Sick building syndrome. This is when forms of outdoor air pollution find their way into indoors by ventilation ducts, air conditioning, and heating. Symptoms include wheezing, coughing, asthma symptoms, and increasing asthma symptoms of people who already have asthma. Radon is a serious indoor pollutant in many places and is in highly developed countries. Radon seeps through the ground and enters buildings, where it sometimes accumulates to dangerous levels.